Welcome everyone to the Think Different podcast. We are back for episode 9 to 7. That's right, 3 more episodes to the big 100. There's going to be confetti. There's going to be balloons. There might even be some special guests. But I'm excited to talk about the 100 years of the Think Different podcast. Not episodes.
That's almost as old as me.
That's right. And speaking of old people, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, of course, is the former Apple creative, retired book publisher, Jurassic Park owner, retirement home president, the Keto Trout drummer himself, Frank Funk is here, everybody.
Hey, how you doing, Will?
We gotta ask, I haven't done this in a while, but not only have you probably been drinking your Zevia, but we have to know where your weight is. Have you kind of leveled out?
You're leveling out? Leveled out at 186, but I think I've been doing some research and been snacking, not non-keto snacks, but just snacking. And things I've been reading is that if you kind of plateau and you don't go anywhere, cut back on the snacks. So yep. I'm going to try that.
You can't cut back on the Zevia, ladies and gentlemen. No, you don't want to cut back on that. Non-sponsor, of course, but that's good to drink at night. So.
There you go.
Well, I am Will TLD because I didn't get to introduce myself because he gave me a segue into his introduction. So my name is Will TLD. I do everything for this podcast. That's right. I am the host. I am the social media guy. I am the video publisher. I do it all. And I begged Frank to be on my show every week.
Oh, I don't know about begging, but he is the brains behind this mean machine here.
Thank you, sir. But we had a tremendous Apple event to talk about. We have a lot of things to discuss. Now, most podcasts normally just talk about what happened, but everyone knows kind of what happened. But we want to hear our feedback, what we like, what we didn't like. That's what we're kind of sticking with today. So we each have a couple of things that we liked about these new products, maybe 1 or 2 things we don't like. And the main question is, what product are we going to get? Which we'll answer at the end of the show. So, Frank, I'm going to start off because last year I tore up last year's Apple event. You know that I was not an iPhone 12 fan because of all the weird things I think they were missing or they were touting about, and they were just like, they were so on board, and I was not on board with a lot of the things, the different cameras and the different Pro phones, which, really pissed me off. How MagSafe really wasn't as good as, Apple said it was. As far as the connectivity, it wasn't as strong as people thought it was. 5G was just a waste of time. The fact that it wasn't including a power adapter inside of there and made an excuse for that. So there were a lot of things last year I didn't like about this phone. But this phone, this year, I have turned around on.
Wow. I figured that.
Yeah, so let's talk about one of the features that I am really looking forward to, which is not even going to be out yet, but it is ProRes video on the iPhone 13 Pro. Now, do you know what ProRes is?
That's where they it follows the subject and it bokehs the background.
That is a cinematic mode, sir.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll get to that in a second. But ProRes video is a format that's used in Final Cut editing. Pro editing uses this as a workflow. So the idea is that they want people to film with an iPhone, and when you bring it into a computer, it's already in the best format possible for it to edit and play back with. That's what ProRes is all about. So for me, like for example, I shoot with my main camera, my video camera. I have a Sony A7S III. The format of that is not ProRes. But when I film it and I bring it into Final Cut Pro, what I do is I do what we call transcoding in video. Transcoding is taking it from one format completely to another one, and I use ProRes as my format. Why? Because my footage chokes up in my computer. But because I transcode it to ProRes, it works perfectly. And that is a workflow method. So that's why people are excited about ProRes, is because this is going to allow you to take what the industry uses for editing for workflow reasons to have it right there recorded in your phone. Now, of course, this is very high quality footage. This is very high bit rate.
Right.
So
it should take up a lot of space.
Right. And that is something I wanted to talk about because with ProRes, they are limiting it to 1080p at 30 frames per second with only the 128 gigs of storage. Now, so that likely has to do with the read and write speeds of that version of that stick is probably too small. So that's probably the only thing. So if you're going to get the 128 gig storage, which I wasn't going to anyway, because I got the 512 likely, the 128 would be limited on the frame rate of what you could use.
Yeah.
So
well, you can now, Will, with what you're doing and with ProRes, that's likely why they bumped the storage up to possibility of 1 terabyte.
1 terabyte, absolutely. Well, people have been wanting a 1 terabyte for a while, to be honest. But what I think is they are changing. They're finally doing what a pro device probably should be doing. A pro device is supposed to be for someone like me, a professional in the industry that could use it. Last year, what could you tell me that was a pro feature that you really, really could say was like a pro feature? There really wasn't. Maybe raw photo?
Yeah.
Raw photo format they came out with?
Yeah.
But that's really it. This is a true, but what they came out with the raw was not even a real raw format yet. It was like a new one that Apple created. This is a format that has existed. So that's why I think this works. And that's why ProRes Video is one of my favorite new features that I absolutely will be using.
All right. So go ahead. You continue.
No. I'll let you talk. I got to take a break.
All right. Well, in terms of the phone, I have, in my opinion, the iPhone 13 is an unlucky 13. It's not to say that it's going to sell, but I was disappointed in the overall presentation.
So we switched roles this year.
Well, yeah, we did. Now, not being a professional videographer, the ProRes, well, I guess that's nice. Okay. But for me, the average user,
Yeah, Joe Schmo ain't going to be,
right.
You be Joe Schmo. Would not use that.
And the only thing that I did like in the Pro was that they included macro photography in the lenses. Now, from I'll say an average standpoint, the average photographer or amateur photographer, that may be something that they would dabble with and play with. But overall, I didn't see anything in the phone that really said to me, well, I got to get one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of reversed roles.
Well, I trashed it. That was different. I trashed it compared to what you're saying. You're just saying you just don't think. And I'll be honest, if you have a 12, I could see no reason you're going to get a 13. I really can't. There's nothing about that other than maybe the better battery life, but is it worth that? Probably not.
Right.
Now, but I want you to talk about one of your favorite things that you liked.
Well, actually, one of my favorite things, believe it or not, was the iPad Mini.
Yeah, it's basically an iPad Air in a mini form factor.
Yeah, it's an A15 chip. It has the integrated, something you said you wanted. Yeah, integrated Touch ID into the top Touch button.
I love that.
It has an ultra wide camera with center stage, 12 megapixel camera front and rear. The new Apple Pencil 2, it supports that. It charges it magnetically on the side. And again, for me, that's the perfect size for reading. I do a lot of reading on mine, on my current iPad Pro, but that smaller format would be really nice to, just have all my books right on there and read from there. I really liked the iPad Mini. That was my big thing coming out of it. Wasn't so crazy about the price.
The price jump was a little. Yes, that was one thing I thought was they went up $100 more than it was
for 64 gig.
Yeah.
No 128. If you want more, it's $649, which is a $150 jump for 256, which bang for the buck, it's definitely worth it. but why they kept the 64 gig, I don't know. I think they should have put 128 in it and started it at $499. But
Well, I mean, you think about it. It's $100 difference between the 64 gig iPad Air compared to the mini. So it's a $499 compared to $599. If that's because really, like I said, they're both the same. It doesn't have like that magic keyboard option. Like obviously, putting a keyboard on a mini is not really
right.
But the 8.3-inch screen, which is really nice that they did that. I think it's nice that they kept the same form factor with, get rid of a lot of the bezels.
Right.
So, like I said, it's really an Air. It's even got a better chip than the Air. But it's not. But the chip, I think, is like the only difference in the 5G if you're going to take advantage of it. Beyond that, everything is pretty close to the same.
And you talking about a keyboard, I've become really used to dictation, and anywhere I can use dictation, even on my iPad Pro that I currently have, I use the dictation. I really don't. Maybe I'm odd, I don't know, but if there's anywhere where I don't have to carry another attachment, or because I have a heavy touch when it comes to the keys, so tapping on the glass tends to, if I do a lot of it, it just bothers my fingers.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, I know. Well,
we can't have that. We can't have
sensitive old skin, man.
Oh my God. Let's talk about one of my other favorite features of the 13, which is the mode I was talking about. You thought it was, which was cinematic mode. And the idea of cinematic mode is basically tapping a part of the frame which you want to be in focus, and it'll blur the rest of the background out. They did this movie trailer that was kind of like all shot in cinematic mode. So it was, they definitely had this film. They definitely had like a film kit. They made this look like really good, and it was really nice. And even what the best part is that this is good for all phones, not just the Pro. This is a 13 all across the board feature. And they are allowing you to do post focusing, which means that you can change it in post, which that to me is really cool.
Yeah.
Think about it. That is like, if you make a mistake, you could fix the mistake.
Well, not even if you make a mistake. If you're reviewing a scene and you say, "Oh, I should have done that in cinematic mode," and then you go in and you could try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then you can just change it back.
This is like another great video trick. This is where, again, a Pro feature in a Pro device, which isn't a 13 as well. Let's just be real. But I think a lot of Pro users would absolutely use this. And I use this a lot in video. Like when I shoot brides and grooms and stuff like that, I do focus one over the other. Now, it doesn't say anything about objects working. It was faces, so I don't know. Obviously, there's some intelligence built in this phone to know the faces in the frame, so I don't know if images are going to work yet with that. That might be a future feature.
Might be, but they were demonstrating it with faces when the main, or like if I'm looking at the camera and I turned right or left and there was someone behind me,
focus it. Yeah.
Right. That's pretty nice. You can really do some nice homegrown videos with that.
Now, the only downside to this is the recording rate. You have to record at 1080p at 30 frames per second to use this mode as the highest. With the main, and you have to use it with the main sensor and the true depth camera. So you're limited on the camera use of that. So as much as they're giving it away, you got to shoot 1080p. And I looked at the video, like, this doesn't look like it was shot in 1080p, that trailer. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, maybe it is, and I just, it just didn't look like that. But yeah, there's some limitations on what you can do. I'm trying to see if the video, if I go play it back on YouTube, because they have it up there, if it could play back in any. No, 1080p. Okay, so I was gonna say it would have been like a lie if they shot in 4K. But yeah, so I thought that was a really nice feature. I'm gonna definitely use that, but I do have to dumb down my recording because I mostly record in 4K. But hopefully it looks good. But I'll definitely give it a try and let you know how that works.
The other thing that I mean, like, definitely the focus or the highlights of the 13 is the camera, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And all these different things you're talking about. The other thing that I did like was the increase in the night photography, the larger f-stop and aperture that you could, it would allow more light, and that was really nice.
That was necessary. I can tell you right now, the 11 that I have now in wide mode at nighttime, it's a little rough. It's kind of rough. Even if it's like somewhat lit, it's still rough. From what I could see, based on my settings on my device, I definitely see this working out better. And they're allowing it in all the cameras this time, not just the one. So it's going to be in all the cameras.
Well, I know on my 12 Pro Max, my wife was always coming, how come your pictures come out better than mine? And I said, well, I told you to get the Max. You wouldn't listen to me.
It's that LiDAR sensor, baby.
That's it.
So, yeah. So, well, that's, I mean, there's definitely a difference. Like, my wife has a 10R now, and you compare the photos to my 11, there's no comparison to it. There. Another thing I really like is the iPhone 13's battery life is back. 12 did not have any improvement at all, and they actually increased the size of the phone a tiny bit just to include a better battery. Yep. And for the phone, for the Pro Max, I think the highest was what, 2.5 hours or 2 hours more time, which is great. So I don't think people were real happy with the 12 battery. I mean, you could tell me, are you happy with the 12 battery in there?
Listen, I can only compare it to myself and my wife. My wife is not happy with it, but I will tell you this.
What? Interesting.
Well, the difference between...
She has a mini?
No, she has she has the 12. I have the Pro Max. She has the 12 Pro. But the difference is that she's constantly playing her casino games on the phone. So, I mean, by like 2 o'clock, she's charging it. Okay? But she's on it all the time. Me, I'm not on it all the time. And if I am, maybe I'm reading. You know what I mean?
All right.
So there's the difference in usage. So I tried to explain to her, you're doing some, I won't say it's heavy usage, but it's consistent gaming, I guess you could say. Whereas I'm just reading text. So the difference in usage is going to use different battery strengths, different battery power.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Is there anything else on the Apple event that you liked or didn't like? The Apple Watch. Let's talk about that. We really haven't touched on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
the Apple Watch.
That's a good start.
The Apple Watch, I was like, I didn't even know why it was there. I mean, it had it's got some changes, but again, nothing that you're going to go, oh, I got to get one of those. So it has rounded edges. They've expanded the screen a little bit.
It wasn't that weird design that people were looking at, that square design that was out there.
Right, the rumors were was going to have
a way
band just like the phone. And I'm like, I don't know. I just
right now. What series do you have right now?
I
have a Series 4.
I have a 6.
Oh, you bought a 6. Okay, yeah. There's no reason for you at all to do that.
No.
But the one thing I do like is
unless I want to get the new Hermes bands.
You bought a Hermes Apple Watch?
No, man.
Oh, thank God! I was like, oh my! Just buy a fake version of the same thing. Why do you have to buy the real one?
I can't
don't get them $400 for that band.
And where they sell them, I don't.
Yeah, know. I don't know. New York and otherwise online. That's it. Like
the ceramic. I don't think the ceramic watch went over well, did it?
No, I mean those are. I mean, think about the gold watch.
Yes.
How much? $10,000 for that watch, and it was with shitty software. I mean, when the Apple Watch came out, it was bad.
But my biggest disappointment was I thought, well, you'll have the 13, the 13 Pro, the 13 Pro Max, and if you want, you can still get a 12 Pro Max. Guess what? The 12 Pro Max is no longer available.
Well, that happened with the 11 too. So let's be fair; they've done that also.
I mean,
with the 11.
You can get the 12 but you can't get the 12 Pro Max. You want a Pro Max? You got to go to the 13.
Well, guess what? It's actually probably cheaper now to buy that one.
Well,
there's probably sales for that thing.
I thought, well, maybe I should upgrade. Well, for my Pro Max, $795 is what they're giving me.
Oh yeah, that's not a lot at all.
No, and it's a 256.
Right.
So I'm like, I think I'm going to hold off.
I think Apple gave me like $500-600 for. I think it was around $500 for it.
Yeah.
And I have the 11 Pro.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad.
No.
So I probably I think the trade-ins are better with the carriers. Actually, I think they're giving a little more.
Yeah.
If you go with the carriers, they're doing big deals with the carriers right now. A lot. Like it's up to like AT&T is willing to give you $1,000 towards a phone. Probably got to give like the highest max possible to give that in. But that's an example. They're willing to give it.
Yeah, but you have to do that's in credits on your account.
Right.
Now,
well, I'm not doing that. I can tell you that right now.
But
I've stopped that for years.
The question I had with that is, can you use your Apple Card and get the 3% back?
No, because you're going through the carriers and they're doing
it's
the payments.
It's going to be on your bill.
You have to do the Apple
right.
The way of doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that probably would not last. No. So the carriers have the exclusive deals that will probably surpass what Apple's giving you just to get you in the door. That's the idea. Another thing I liked about this was all the iPads start at 64 gigs now, which is nice.
Yeah. Oh, there is one thing I liked on the Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they put a full keyboard in.
Yes, that is the one thing I liked about that. But I like the idea of swiping to do. I think that would be very useful.
Yes. Now, but again,
it's not worth the upgrade. But no,
I've used dictation very well. So, anytime in text or anything with my watch, I just use the dictation and it works fine. Of course, you have to read what it translates before you send it. Okay.
Yes.
So.
And I can tell you right now, almost every text, something is not right on it, unless I speak very slowly. Honestly, I think a phone. Maybe iOS 15 is going to change it now because now Siri is going to be built directly into the device. Maybe it won't require internet to catch it, but maybe that might change a little bit. So we'll see regarding that. The iPad starting at $329 is still the best money for a tablet. And they upgraded that, all the internals. They added the center stage in that too. Believe it or not, the iPad Air is the only one that doesn't have center stage, and they just introduced that last year.
Now, I'm assuming that everybody knows what center stage is, but you want to just go over that center stage?
Yeah. So the ultra wide camera on your lens of your FaceTime camera basically allows you to move around the frame, and what it'll do is the person that's watching you will either get a close up or zoom up as you move around. So that way it's panning left to right, up, down, up close to know where you are. So that way if you step out of frame or you're moving around doing something, it'll focus on you.
Right. You're not lost out of the frame of whatever you're talking about. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's pretty good if you're doing presentations in as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a great business tool. I think that's a great tool. And you can thank the pandemic for something like that being invented. It's like, would they really have come up with that if we weren't in a pandemic?
I don't know.
Right? The last thing that I was very happy with, and this is why we're going to talk about what we would buy, what we won't buy. All the cameras in the Pros are the same this year. There is no difference between that when the 12 came out, and which was one of my biggest gripes with that one, because you're differentiating the Pros, which was annoying.
Right.
So I think it was only fair that the cameras are the same if you're buying a Pro model. Why would one be better over the other? No matter how minor the spec was.
Yeah.
It was a stabilization feature. That's all it was.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe they got your fearless feedback and they went with it.
They must listen to the Think Different podcast. That's what they definitely
maybe
do.
That's what it is. Maybe
that's
Tim
right.
listens to it.
Tim, you listened. Thank you, Tim. So let's talk about what we would buy, what we would not buy. So where we are, we have the start off with the original iPad Plus. They talked about Apple TV Plus also, which right now I'm no longer a member of. I don't have Apple TV Plus. No, I don't have it. I don't have
how
the Apple
come?
One membership.
Oh,
Yeah.
why? I'm surprised. I love
Because
mine.
so I'm thinking about it. So the things I'm missing out right now for $5 because I have a 1 terabyte plan, right? So the
Yeah,
things I'm missing out right now is Apple TV Plus, Apple Fitness, Apple News, and Arcade.
right.
Okay, I don't use any of those.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah, but wait a minute. If you for $5 more than what you're
right,
paying now, you get another terabyte of storage. You get two
no, I already have the
terabytes of
terabyte storage.
storage.
I already have it.
All right, but
I'm paying
but
$25 a month between my Apple Music and my iCloud.
okay, so you
So
if you go with it for $5,
right.
Luke's getting old, a little older now. He'll be be on Apple Arcade. I was just
That's
playing a
fine.
game with my grandson yesterday. We were playing a game on Apple
Yeah, but he's
Arcade.
like he's a teen.
He's 10.
Okay, he's teen 10. That's close enough.
Okay.
So
Preteen.
preteen. My son is 9 months. He doesn't understand what an iPod even is.
That's then you're falling down as a parent. You need to teach him. You need to teach
Right.
him
Yeah,
how
I'm
to
a
do the
terrible parent.
controls. That's
I'm a
it.
terrible parent for not introducing my son into technology that
That's
will
right.
likely destroy him because that's what social media does. There's not much positive out there.
Oh, you know what I'm waiting for on Apple TV? I think it's the 24th is Foundation.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Premiere.
I'm guessing you watch or not watch. You don't watch a book. I'm assuming you read the book.
Yes. Well, a
Yeah,
long
see,
time ago when I was in college.
Oh,
So,
back in 1972.
Actually, I have a signed copy. No,
I'm sure you do. But
Yeah.
that's in World War I, they definitely had a lot of those things
yep.
out there. Yeah, that's true. So as far as the original iPad goes, right now the iPad I have is an older generation. It's not even one of the ones with the thinner bezel. So I'm very close to considering upgrading my iPad just because the other one's kind of slow. That one, there's gonna be a point where the updates are gonna stop, and I think for $329 to have that model, might be worth it.
Yeah.
So that might be something I'm gonna consider. But I don't think anytime now, but soon. I think I'm definitely gonna think about getting that.
Well, my upgrades that I'm thinking of doing. We have an old iPad Air. It still runs. It does what my wife wants it to do. But I'm waiting to see a little further in the year here to see if they're going to have a 27-inch iMac with the improved camera and so on and so forth. Because if that's the case, then I may get a new iMac and stretch out the life on her Air. Maybe even convince her to get or give her my iPad Pro. And
would you buy an iPad Mini? Sounds like you want one.
I would. I think.
Okay. You have the money. You're retired. You can do whatever you want.
I do. But actually, we're selling stuff here. I'm trying to purge.
Oh,
If you know anybody that's interested in a couple Sonos ones, a Sonos 5, a CD player.
Oh yeah, CD player. Everyone needs one of those. We can't buy one of those for $15 in a Walmart right now. A CD player.
But
like for me, the iPad Mini, it's too small. I don't know what I would use for it. I don't think I'd ever buy an iPad Mini. I bought an iPad Mini once. It was like one of the very first iPads I bought. I think was the Mini because I liked the lightness of it.
Right.
That's what I really liked it for. So I had an iPad Mini. Then eventually I gave it to my wife, who I think no longer uses it, and she got rid of it at some point, or we got rid of it for like cheap. It was like $70 or something. It was like nothing.
I know when I was working at the store and we were doing the sessions, a lot of women liked that size because it would fit nicely into their purse.
Yes.
And it reminds me because remember the Kindle, right?
Of course.
All right, so
it was basically like a Kindle, yeah.
Except now that's got an 815 chip in it. It's it does all of that stuff.
I don't know why people would buy a Kindle. I'll be honest, even for $100, I don't even know why people would buy a Kindle. Now that's going back to the price though. Now you're talking a $500 mini here. This is not a $329 device.
Yes.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they had a mini out there that was very comparable to the iPad beginner one for like $199, oh my God, I can't imagine how many they would sell.
Yeah.
But they don't do that, and I'm a little surprised because knowing how Apple is, they sell the older version of the iPhone just to make it, available for everybody, But let's talk about the Apple Watch. I think it's very clear that both of us don't want one of those. I don't think we have a need to. I have a Series 4. I still have absolutely no reason to upgrade to the Apple Watch Series 7.
Well,
there's nothing.
The other thing that I didn't like that they didn't add in any health features.
Nothing.
I was like,
it was a bigger screen, and that's it. And maybe the chip inside is better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was. I think they just wanted to come out with something. They did one thing, and maybe remember it's not even coming to the fall, so they're really behind on production of it. So I feel like there was something about this version. Just I don't know. I mean,
it's that unlucky 13. Will.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it. The last thing is iPhone 13. I think you could tell from the tone of my voice that I am absolutely going to be upgrading from my iPhone 11 Pro to a 13. I'm going to join the bandwagon. I have a lot of features on this device that I know I could use, which is why I didn't go to the 12. I didn't feel like there was nothing there, plus with a lot of the lies they were doing. So what I likely will be doing is selling my 11 Pro, either myself, but I won't sell the adapter. I'm keeping the adapter around. So that's for sure. So the adapter is actually going to stay with me. I'll sell the USB-C cable. Fine. Maybe I'll just give it to Apple because Apple just take the phone. They won't even take the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
At least I don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm smart. I think
I don't know if you're smart. Now you're pushing the envelope, but.
But I'm going to get a 512. I'm not going to get a 1 terabyte. That's just like too much. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just a little high for me. But not to mention, I think the price jacks up.
It's like you're almost $2,000
for a phone. Like it's more than a phone.
It's a computer.
It's a computer. That's right. Very true. Well, Frank, overall, would you say the event was kind of like not much? I don't think it was like the biggest one ever. There's definitely been better ones.
Right.
Production wise, it was cool. The California Dreamin' was the theme, and they went to all different spots in California. Was cool.
Yeah.
Again, the camera, the production is top notch. So good. Like the transitions between the scenes are great. Sometimes I wonder, are they really there? Are they not there? It's so hard to tell.
Tim was in more of it this time.
Yes.
There were a lot of women in it. There were
okay.
Well, there were.
It's just a random thing to pick up.
There's a
lot more women in it.
Touting diversity, right?
Yeah, but what it is? But I like having the core people that talk about it all the time. Like Craig Federini, if he's not introducing this MacBook Pro, who the hell is? Like,
right.
So it's like there should be a core group of people introducing things. Like the guy that did the watches all the time, he wasn't here this time.
Yeah.
It's just like I wish they would have a core group of people. I know there's too many people now to try to remember. Who the hell are you? I don't know who you are.
Hey, it's a perk. We're gonna get you in the announcement.
Okay, then I'll join the Apple Watch team and try to become like a high person on the team.
Yeah,
and that way I can get on the keynote.
It's probably they put all their names in a bowl and pick somebody out. There you go. Hey, guess what? You're on.
No, they definitely have a randomizer in their iPhone. Come on, that's not what they did. But yeah, so like I said, okay, keynote, smaller, not too crazy this time. We have a lot more to get to, of course, to the end of the year. No AirPods either, which was a little surprise. People thought that was coming.
Yep.
I think it's weird if they introduced the AirPods in a MacBook keynote or event. That seems a little.
They seem to be losing some synergy here. It's kind of like, throw that in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's been going on for a while, friend. That is not new. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I gotta wait for my employee discount where I know my man Will's gonna be hooking me up. Will with the Z's. Yeah, he's gonna hook you up with that discount, baby. So once I get that discount, I will sell this phone. I will move on, and then I can't wait to try it out and give feedback to everybody.
Then you better get it in before the 100th issue, and you do your review.
Oh, we could do it on any time anyway. So don't worry about that. But thank you, everybody, for joining us for another version of the podcast. We appreciate you always joining us. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review on that iTunes or that Spotify. We always appreciate that. Join us on our YouTube channel where people just love to watch our videos, including his numbers video. My God, listen to this comment that just came in right now. I am new to the MacBook bandwagon, and I find your video tutorial really helpful. Thanks a lot. And see, Frank?
There you go. The old guy did that. Do you believe it?
Yeah, I cannot believe that this guy to my left is actually getting, compliments. So
yeah, it's hard to believe. I know. I was shocked.
So check out our training videos on numbers and pages. It's the top if you ever search for us on our YouTube. Leave us a comment or review or a like. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next time, and we love every single one of you.
Take care, everybody.